Hey, Rockstars, Andrew Houston here from Profit for Contractors with another no bullshit podcast for you guys, contractors. So look, here's what we're going to be talking about. Have you ever wondered, am I pricing my jobs properly? Have you ever wondered, on the topic of pricing, should I increase my prices? It's a mental block for a lot of us as to how to answer that question. We dwell on it, we question it, we don't really know sometimes what the next steps are. We're going to be talking with Ryan, a contractor out of Florida, who was able to address both of those, what he did, the impact, and I think you're going to just love it. These are things that we think about, and we think about, and we think about, but it's time to, get some insights as to how to take action and what the next steps are to better your business. I'll see you on the flip. Again, Andrew Houston from Profit for Contractors with another No Bullshit podcast. Catch ya. Until right now, this very moment, contractors have always been on their own, not as tradespeople, but being alone and knowing how to take their business to the next level. They call us working class. They call us blue collar. They say that we don't have the smarts to become the business owner that we're meant to be. That is such bullshit. You have the ability. You're more than any of that. The question really is, where do you get the insights that you need specific to contracting to systemize your business so you can get your profits to pay for your freedom? I'm Andrew Houston. I'm going to show you how to make more profits, how to get more control, how to get more freedom in the simplest, quickest way possible without any of that bullshit. Welcome to the No Bullshit Podcast for Contractors. Listen up, level up, and if you learn something, like the video, subscribe to the channel, change your business, change your life. All right, rock stars, welcome to another No Bullshit Podcast for Contractors. I'm super pumped about this episode. Guys, I'm super pumped about all episodes, but this one is near and dear to my heart because we're going to be talking about a lot of different things. One of the things we're going to be talking about, okay, just to highlight, is the impact of raising your prices. Okay, so if you're listening in, you're driving in your truck, I'm here with Ryan. I'm going to get Ryan. I'm going to have you introduce yourself in a second, but we're going to talk about some of the things that, guys, I think that in all honesty, you think about, maybe you don't talk about them. We're going to talk about some of those things that are in your head, some of the actions you can take, as an example, raising your prices, and the positive impact that can have, like it has on Ryan. So Ryan, welcome, bro. Welcome to the No Bullshit Podcast. How you doing?
Good. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Hey,
Super pumped to be here.
Hey, dude, I'm honored. Like I said a little bit earlier when we were just chatting, I'm honored to have you on here. Honored to have other guests on here, and the reason I'm honored about it is because one of the biggest things is you guys have the courage, right? You've taken the courage to take the step to get help. You've taken the courage to actually take action on some of these things that we're going to be talking about today, where you really questioned it. You hesitated, but at some point, right, you took the leap, of like, I got to do this, right? Obviously based upon some educated input and strategy and things of that nature, but you're here because you've taken action, okay? You're not here because you got a perfect business, are you? Like, you still got challenges, right?
Absolutely. Definitely.
Okay. No bullshit, right?
No bullshit. Definitely have challenges.
So let's talk a little bit about, tell us a little bit about where you're located. What do you do? And let's start off with that.
Okay. I'm located in Edgewater, Florida, about 20 miles south of Daytona Beach. I've got 25 years experience in my specialty, I guess you could say. Yep. We manufacture commercial awnings and canopies for contractors, as well as supplying and installing interior window treatments for large apartment complexes and even small residential. So
cool, man. So I think you mentioned you started in this gig at age of 17 or something like that, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I've always worked in a family business. My parents, when I was way young, when I was like 9, they started a sign company. It kind of grew into an awning company that, after school, I'd go and I'd sweep the floors and, grind frames, just do stupid stuff. And I really liked it because you'd take, raw materials just like rolls of fabric and lengths of aluminum and, weld it together, and you'd have something that looked nice, go put it up on the building and change the whole building. So
nice, dude.
Yeah, it's quick turnarounds too. So, the average job's 3 weeks. So it's something you do pretty quick.
In and out, right?
In and out, it's fun. I have like ADHD, so that's perfect for me. I can like,
I'm gonna say about this ADHD thing, dude. I've been tested. I have it for sure. All right.
yeah,
Um, and I honestly believe I'm sure there's a study someplace. I read something somewhere. I don't know where it was, but I read that most entrepreneurs, like a huge percentage, like 80+% of entrepreneurs, have some form of ADHD. All right, like we're so creative. We're like, we're like passionate. We're like, okay, man, let's just like. I think that just comes with being an entrepreneur. And for those of you that have it or you think you have it, my 2 cents on it, like that, we're not going to, get heavy into it on today's call. We got some other things to talk about. Is I really believe if funneled properly and channeled properly, it's one of the greatest advantages you can have. Right? We've got to
yeah,
be I think one of the biggest things about being an entrepreneur. There's lots of them, or about being a champion CEO, is that we are so passionate about solving problems, right? And having ADHD, it allows that brain to freaking think about all these solutions, right? So with that, without further ado, let's talk a little bit about, on the business front, like, what has been a bit of your journey, man? What have been some of the drawbacks that you've had owning a contracting business?
oh, there's been so many, like, so, I
Ups
took
and
over.
downs, eh?
Yeah, I took over the business when I was 25. I'm 42 now, and there was like, I'll never forget one time. We were just kind of struggling. We got this IRS agent comes walking into my office, and my wife, she's like 6 months pregnant, and this guy's like threatening to put me in jail and all this stuff, and I'm like, oh my god, right? I'm like freaking out. Um, and it wasn't really. I didn't go to jail, but it ended up being like $75,000 in fines, and you're like, oh my god, what did I do? How did I get to this point where I just totally messed up? I wasn't paying attention, or I just, whatever it was, I didn't know any better. It's not like business comes with a book of this is how you do everything.
It's so
You just
true, isn't it?
yeah, it's like you just kind of like, okay, well, we'll figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that was kind of that actually, that down brought me to a huge up, because at that point I realized, I need help. I obviously don't know what I'm doing. So, hire a professional accountant, you hire a lawyer, to keep you out of jail, so to say,
Right.
you pay off the bill. And we were successful. We paid that bill off, in about 2 years. So we
Good
were
for
good.
you.
Um, and
Listen, something like this, okay? Like you were able to get out of it. Like there's people listening in on this that if I said to them, "Hey, man, you got to pay 75 grand like right now or in the next 12 months," they'd be like, "Hey, I got to go out of business." Like,
yeah. Well, the worst thing, the situation I was in, is I couldn't. It was personally attached to me, so I couldn't just be like, "Oh, file bankruptcy, we're done.
right.
We'll just start over." It was like, "Well, we're in it." You know.
You're gonna lose personally that
Yeah,
75 in some way or fashion, right? It's gonna
yeah.
cost, right?
So it was like, okay, well, this whatever. We just got to figure this out, and we came up with a plan, and we just paid it off. That's all you can do, and then don't do it again. That type of deal. But like I
So
say,
that sort of brought you to, realizing that. And look, everybody listening in, if you want to raise your hand to get help with proper contractors, totally cool. This is not a sales pitch. I say this every once in a while. Okay. I'm passionate about helping contractors. Okay. Good contractors. That means ethical contractors. Okay. Pretty hard for me to filter that on the people that are listening, but that's the purpose. Okay. So what I want to get into is, where this led you from an awareness perspective, because I guess the point I want to make for everybody listening in, okay, is, I use different examples, and today I'm going to use the example of being a tradie. Okay. Like it took me a long time to become a fairly, like, not crazy long, but long enough. Okay. It took me 5 years to become a licensed electrician. Okay. Like that was me going through my apprenticeship, passing, my first, apprenticeship, level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 type of thing. Right. I came out, to be honest with you. I remember I was running job sites before I shouldn't have, but anyways, I was running job sites before I was licensed. Okay. But even when I came out, I didn't feel like I knew it all. Right. I was like, holy shit, like I got to learn this stuff. Right. So the reason I'm using that as an example, I mean, you take yourself, Ryan, right? Look at how long you've been in the business. Like I'm talking about the trades. Okay. And I wouldn't doubt, I could be wrong, but I bet you're still learning things, right? New
oh, all the
technologies,
time.
new materials, right? You're always learning, right?
Absolutely.
Right. So imagine me as being a tradesperson trying to do what you do, or you trying to do what I do. And we are actually tradies. That means we're probably mechanically inclined. It means that we can learn this stuff probably pretty quick. But the reality is, I don't know what you know, and you don't know what I know as a tradesperson. Okay. Now what we do is we take it to the next level of a lack of awareness, and we try to run a business without getting insight on how to run a business. We try to fake it and do our own accounting. We try to be our own bookkeeper. And that, honestly, it's just on everybody listening in. I'm going to tell you, that's one of the worst fucking mistakes you can make. I made it. Ryan obviously made it with the IRS and a whole bunch of other things, right? Okay. So don't do it alone. And let's get into an example. Okay. Like, this is no bullshit podcast. It's about, helping you guys. So let's get into some tactics, some things. We're not going to cover off everything that you've improved in your business, but let's cover off a couple things. One of the things is, when you came to us, back to awareness, pricing, right? Pricing was a big issue, correct?
Sure.
Okay. So what was a bit of the aha moment you had around your pricing?
I would say the biggest aha moment was definitely pricing, my labor pricing.
Yes.
When you're like, okay, you start going through the calculators and you're like, all right, I can see this. And even I was talking with my accountant about it, and he's like, yeah, I don't think that calculation's right. And I'm like, I don't know. It seems pretty accurate. And we're pretty spot on with it. And I know that, if I have to bring in or give someone a raise or whatever it is, I can just adjust the calculator and I know what I have to charge for them now. So, that was probably the biggest aha moment. Also, you don't even think of like the stupid little things, like, like, who's taking out the trash? Like, you're paying someone to do that, like you got to get paid for that no matter what. It's going to be in your own need. Loading up the truck, going to get hardware, even charging for hardware. A lot of people, it's like, it's just
how about getting paid for the time that it takes for you to do the quote?
Oh, absolutely. We definitely charge for admin. Definitely charge for that.
Right. So you got this pricing calculator from for Contractors, right? You put in the numbers. Even your accountant was like, "What? This can't be right." It is right. It is. Okay. So that adds up over the year, right? So, everybody listening in, I know everybody listening as a contractor, you don't wake up in the fucking morning, you got a quote to do and go, I'm going to quote this thing and I want to lose money. Like, what? You don't do that.
Yeah, you don't do that.
But yet that's what's happening most of the time, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And, we all think of it. You're like, okay, we're going to price this job. We're going to make like $2,000 or whatever it is, $20,000. And then at the end of the day, you're like, dude, we lost our shirt on that job. What the hell happened? Like, where did it go wrong? And it's like, well, you start looking back through. It's like, well, you forgot to price for this. You forgot to do that. It's like, so ours is a little bit different because we're manufacturing in a facility, but, we have to package awnings. Like, we have to like protect them to get them down the road. But for years, I wasn't charging for that stuff. I mean, it was before I came here, I was, because I realized that, that's a thing, but it's like in the beginning we weren't, and we were losing so much money on that. We would actually be like, the minute we realized we were losing crazy money is when we started packaging the awnings and not charging for it, because you don't even think of it. You don't even think of it.
Yep. Totally. I'm going to throw out one, everybody listening in, and I'm going to talk about seasonal pricing. People are like, what are you talking about it, coach? I'm like, well, and I'm going to tell you, I get a lot of this from my parents. Okay. Grew up on a farm. Okay. And I still remember, my dad still has a farm. Okay. But I still remember the difficulty doing the same fucking thing in the summer as what I did with my dad in the winter. Okay. Say hauling a load of hay, right? From one barn to the next barn, or one field to the next field, right? Like, pay attention here, everybody, right? Fuck, no snow, no problem. Get the tractor, load her up, go to the field, good to go. Oh shit, we got 2 feet of snow.
Yeah.
Now what do you got to do? Oh fuck, we got to snow blow.
Yeah.
We got to put the chains on. We got it. So think about this, everybody. If you're not adjusting your pricing, okay, and you do any form of outside work, okay, you definitely need to adjust your pricing, okay, for different weather conditions. Okay. And people are like, what? I'm like, yes, if it takes you double the amount of time to set up a fucking scaffold on the outside of a building because you got to remove a whole shit ton of snow, and you're not considering that, I'm going to tell you, if you don't consider it,
Yep.
Your client's not considering it, and you're the one that has to pay for it.
Yep. That's
So
absolutely
all these things that add up. Okay. Let's go to the next thing. So that was a big aha moment for you. Okay. And again, back to what we said, it's nobody's intention to lose money in pricing. Okay.
right.
But if you don't know this shit, guys, and by the way, if you want to get the pricing for profits calculator, which will help you, it's not going to solve all the problems, okay, that you got. But the first thing you want to do with this pricing for profits calculator, which you guys can get your hands on, is you need to know what your break even is. You need to know that you're at least breaking even when, what is that point of zero, right? So that then you can now add on to make sure you're making money. Okay. So let's go into the next conversation. You struggled a bit with this one, increasing your pricing. Tell us a little bit about where was your mindset at when somebody said, hey, man, you got to increase your prices?
So my mindset was that this is the market value because this is what everybody else was charging for this. And I'm just like, well, how can we won't have any work. Like we'll just be just all sitting here looking at each other. But we didn't have a choice because we were losing money. We had this huge IRS bill that we had to pay because we weren't making any money. We couldn't pay the taxes, and it went from like 20 grand to 75 grand. And I'm like, all right, we got to pay this, so we're like, all right, we're going to do it, whatever. We just got to price this higher. So we started pricing higher. And we lost customers. There was no doubt. We probably lost half our customers. And it was scary. I was freaking out. I mean, I was like literally like driving to work, like, oh shit, what are we going to do? Like trying to figure this out. And of course, one thing and I think a lot of us do this, is we never like reach out to somebody and say, hey, I'm scared. Like, we're like, cause we have to be tough and strong and all this and the leader and so I'm like, whatever, we're doing this. And I have one of those mentalities. Once we're doing it, we're doing it. It doesn't matter, so we raised our prices. We lost half our customers, but the great thing about it is that it allowed me more time to get better customers, bigger customers who are giving us better work, more consistent. We're paying the price. They didn't care. They just wanted it done. They wanted it done on time. Probably about a year and a half to 2 years after we raised our prices, everybody who left came back because we were good. We were really good. And we were good before. And the only reason why they left was because they could get it somewhere else cheaper. But that guy who was doing it cheaper, he wasn't any good. It's like he just couldn't do what we could do.
Tell me how this changed your bottom line.
Oh, I started taking home a paycheck. We were able to buy new vehicles, new tools.
And as well pay the bill off.
Pay the bill off.
Right. Be able to pay your employees more.
Yeah.
Right.
Everything.
Right.
Everything that you can think comes with it. You can do. It's like I think like 3 years later we bought we were buying stuff personally that we wouldn't have been able to afford before. It was great. It was the best thing we ever did. But I was definitely scared doing it. And
here's the thing. Okay. Here's the thing is that like at Profit Contractors, we teach that this is what's going to happen. You're going to lose some clients. You're going to get better quality clients. It's going to focus you better on your avatar of the chat. Like we talked about this, right? And the reason we were able to talk about it, in all honesty, everybody listen in, is because this experience is what you experienced, Ryan, is very similar to what hundreds and hundreds of other contractors have experienced in raising their prices. Okay. Now, by the way, you don't go stupid about it. Okay. Everybody listening in, I'm going to give you a couple of tactics. I don't know, Ryan, if you take this approach, but I'm just going to really, really quick tactics. Okay. First thing. Okay. You should raise your prices. Okay. There's a couple indicators. One is that, especially this time of the year, if you're getting lots of quotes, lots of requests for quotes, winning too many jobs is one of the indicators.
Yeah.
Right, Ryan?
Yeah, absolutely. If you're winning every single job, your price is way too low.
Absolutely. Okay. Because there's a couple of reasons. You're winning it based upon price. Okay. And that actually attracts more people that are driven by price. They're not driven by the value of your product and service. Okay. Next thing. Okay. Is if you're winning too many, that means you don't have a tight enough filter. Right. Also, you have to ask yourself right now, this time of the year, especially this time of the year, you only have a certain capacity. So you need to manage your pricing. I don't know if you've gotten to this stage yet with your pricing and working with one of the coaches, but you want to constantly adjust your pricing, okay? Based upon the seasonality of the year. And that seasonality is driven by a couple things, okay? You definitely want to get your marketing dialed in so you can increase number of leads you get, decrease it as necessary, okay? But you want to keep looking at your capacity, right?
Right.
If you've got a lot of work and you don't need a whole bunch of spots filled in the next month or two, when somebody goes to ask you to do a quote, like your value actually is increased because the demand is actually increased. Makes sense, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. But if we don't look at that kind of stuff and we're just looking at every quote as the same approach, guys, you got to stop doing that. Okay. So that's one of the things. Okay. The other side of it, and Ryan, you've already mentioned this, is that if we don't increase our pricing, we're definitely going to a bit of a repeat here. We're going to attract the wrong client. Okay. But let's think about the effect of that. Ryan, what's been some of the effects on your team by dealing with the wrong clients?
Oh, it creates a lot of aggravation for everybody. If you get the wrong client, and they could even check all the boxes when you first give them the price and everything, and then something stupid goes wrong, and they just don't stop calling. They don't, and you're going back, and you keep going back, and you're just like, wow, it really has it weighs on your team. They're like, oh, they'd be like, oh, this person again. Oh, why?
Totally. What a pain in the ass, right? And then on top of that, if they don't pay, right?
Yeah, that's
right?
that, definitely.
Right. Okay.
So one thing we've actually done to filter out people is, we always require a deposit. It depends on the job. I mean, some job, no, every job requires a deposit. How much depends on the job. If it's going to be a long-lasting job, we'll do it. What we use is a schedule of values, where we break out the whole job and we put in the values, and we say, okay, to start is this much. Get a permit is this much money. Once the permit's approved, we need this much money to buy materials. Once and we're going to need this much money to manufacture. And then once that's done, we need this much money to do the installation. Once that's done, and we just kind of do it that. But, you start talking like $5,000 jobs, $10,000 jobs, it's 50% deposit. And that actually weeds out a lot of people, because I've had people say to me, oh, we don't give deposits. And I just say, okay, great. Well, I don't do work with people who don't give deposits, because I find in my experience that people who argue about the deposit argue about the final payment. So, it's like, you definitely got to get a deposit, because I'm not a bank. This isn't Bank of America.
That's it. Yeah. Ryan's Bank of America.
Yeah.
Okay, a couple other things. Okay, before we wrap this up, just really quickly, you talked a little bit about, you got to have love. You need to be tough, to make it big. Tell us a little bit about that mindset.
So you got to have love, but you do have to be tough. And if you're gonna make it big, you got to be really tough. And easily the toughest, most irresistible force on the planet is love. So you need to love life, your business, your clients, your prospects, your team members, your country, your family, your God. You just got to have love for everything. If you don't love everybody, you'll never sell anybody. And that's really what this is about. Everything's a sale.
Love it, man. That's well, I love it. Right. Hence, pardon the pun. We only got a couple minutes here, but anything that you'd say on the recruitment side of things?
Ooh, yeah, that's tough. That's definitely been really tough lately. But we use online stuff. A lot of times we're trying to obviously poach our competitors, employees. And when you get some good people in, you just kind of try and get them to bring people in, have them. That works out to be the best. When you have people who work for you, bring other people in, because they're looking out for your best interest. If you treat them right, they're going to look out for your best interest, because also it's going to help them. So
absolutely. Good people want to help with want to work with more good people, right?
Yeah, pretty much. A players want to play with A players.
That's it, man. Totally.
You watch football.
So last words of wisdom.
Best teams, you've got the best players.
That's it, man. What would be your last words of wisdom, to somebody listening in on this?
I would say, times get tough, keep your head up, reach out for help. Definitely scared to reach out for help. So if you feel like you need help, click that link, you'll get help. Profit Contractors is definitely one of the best things I've done for my business. And the coaches keep you accountable, and it's really helped. It really has helped a lot. So if you feel like you're in that trench and you need to get out, don't be scared to ask for help.
Thanks for saying that too. I really appreciate that. It means a lot to me. So anybody listening in, link will be below. If you want to get that pricing for profits calculator, I'll get the team to put that link in as well, so you guys can get that free tool and within minutes assess whether or not you're going in the right direction regarding your pricing. And look, here's the thing. It's coming to the end of the year. You have to make a conscious decision, okay, as far as getting help. All right. I think it's one of the greatest attributes of being a champion CEO is the willingness to reach out for help and put our pride aside, okay, to think that we're supposed to all figure this out on our own. That's like the hardest way to learn, okay? It's the most expensive way. It's the most risky way. Get help, okay, whether it's through us or through, other, professionals. You don't know what you don't know. And trying to be that professional, in all those different aspects of your business is literally impossible. Okay. It's impossible. I got a coaching company that helps contractors. So, I got a pretty good idea how to run a contracting business, but I'm going to tell you right now, don't ask me to be your accountant. Don't ask me to be your lawyer. Ask me to be your coach. Okay. And give you templates and tools and strategies and insights and a plan, but I'm not your bookkeeper. I'm not what I'm saying? Like that's a profession in itself. I'm not you, Ryan. You're not me.
Right.
So the good news is that there's people out there to help you. Okay.
Yeah.
The bad news is, or potentially is bad news, is if you don't reach out for the help. The good news is if you do reach out for the help. So hope everybody's had a good year. Reflect on your past, reflect on the things that you've done well. Make sure you protect them. And this is a little note to you, Ryan. Make sure you do that going into 2023. There's a lot of great things that you've done. We got to maintain those good things. Okay. Before we add anything new to the plate, make sure you're, reflecting to protect the things that you put into play. And if anybody needs a little bit of help and planning for 2023, reach out to us. Anyways, dude, thanks so much for your time today. It's awesome.
Oh, thanks for having me. I really enjoy it. And like I say, I really enjoy the program. And, I'm more than happy to be here.
Thanks, bro. We'll catch you on the flip. I'll have you back again.
All right. Sounds great.
Progress you've made. All right.
All right.
Perfect. Have a great day. Ciao.
You too. Thanks.
Hey, rock stars. Thank you for watching the No Bullshit Podcast for Contractors. If you enjoyed this episode, hit the subscribe button. And if you're serious about growing and need help, click on the link below. Myself and my team would love to help and give you the necessary tools so you can take your contracting business to the next level. And remember, dominate, delegate, and deliver.